In the world of My Hero Academia, for the majority of heroes, sole reliance on their quirk is not enough to succeed at a high level due to the limitations of their power, which led to the widespread usage of support items to take those existing powers to new heights while also mitigating weaknesses. In the case of Bakugo Katsuki, one of my favorite characters by the way, his support items are a perfect example of allowing one to overcome their natural limits. His gauntlets allow him to launch long-range attacks with a quirk that is otherwise a close-range ability, while also taking away the cap on his rate of firing explosions, which when exceeded previously would destroy his arms. In this new video series, we'll be creating support items for various characters in an attempt to tackle their individual weaknesses and also build upon what their existing support items have already improved. In this video, our episode 1, we'll be taking on the task of transforming Ochaco Uraraka into an offensive powerhouse. All concept art and animations were done by yours truly, and so I hope you enjoy. Now let's get right into it. Uraraka, as a result of her quirk Zero Gravity, has 5 little pads on the tip of her fingers that can remove the gravitational pull from just about anything if it makes contact with all 5 fingers, essentially making them weightless and causing them to float. Some examples so far have included other students, herself, rocks, and robots from the entrance exam. Currently, the upper weight limit of her ability to turn objects weightless is listed at 3 tons. However, if she strains herself too much, she'll begin to feel dizzy, drowsy, and even nauseous. We know from the quirk training activities that not only can she train herself to better handle nausea, but she can also increase the weight limit of her quirk. So there's no reason as of right now to think that her limit won't one day be 5 or even 10 tons, which is amazing. Prior to the UA student internship, truthfully I viewed Uraraka as a future support hero at best. Her quirk could be used offensively, but her design and lack of combat skills made it hard to view her as a true weapon. But this soon changed. The sports festival would be huge for Uraraka. Despite not winning, it would reveal that there's a fire in her that if controlled, could make her lethal. Her exhilarating fight against Bakugo would expose a weakness that she later honed in on during the internship while under the tutelage of the pro hero Gunhead. Hand-to-hand combat was a skill that she lacked, that after improving upon, changed everything about her potential as a future hero. Uraraka has the potential to be an amazing hybrid hero. Her powers allow her the choice of either filling the role of a support rescue hero due to its potential usage for cleaning damaged structure and debris, or an offensive first responder sort of hero, and a deadly one at that. But before realizing her potential, some obstacles need to be overcome, with the help of a few key support items, which I'll happily present to you soon enough. But first, let's look at her shortcomings, the things we'll be looking to improve on. First up, we have mobility. Through reducing the impact of her nausea when making herself float, Uraraka has become somewhat mobile. Her movements, however, are still limited, as she can only float at a very slow speed and can't easily change directions. This limitation has been exposed numerous times in the series, even right from the beginning. Shortly after the class costumes were revealed, during the indoor 2-on-2 training exercise, specifically when there was an opening to capture the weapon from the villains, but her mid-air speed caused her to fall short. Another instance of poor mobility being during the sports festival when teamed up with Tokoyama, Midoriya, and Hatsume. While she doesn't need to be able to move others at faster speeds, it's clear that she'd be far more efficient if she was able to float herself at different speeds. She would go from floating to pretty much flying. The final instance of this weakness being exposed was during the events that led to Bakugo being captured. Of course, no student had their costume or support items during this instance, but in the future, if someone like Sue isn't there to throw the group, or Shoji to use his arms to adjust their flight, Uraraka would be able to pursue the enemies herself if she could fix this issue. The second weakness or shortcoming is her durability. Uraraka during her fight in the sports festival put up a good fight against Bakugo. I wouldn't say she was close to winning, but she made Bakugo work for his victory, and showed promise in a fight that touched just about everyone's heart, mine included. But one thing that was clear from that fight is that while her combative skills have since improved, durability hasn't come so easily. Bakugo has raw talent coupled with an aggression that will never let him fall in a fight. Midoriya has an irrational, almost psychotic will to get his way, even risking permanent damage just to do so. Uraraka is not on the level of those two, at least not yet, and if close range hand-to-hand combat is her future, her durability will need some assistance. Finally, before we get into the new support items, her last shortcoming that we'll be discussing in this video is her reliance on nearby objects. Of course, if your power is the ability to make objects float, you would logically look for objects to float, but part of a hero's job is to overcome obstacles and the natural limits of their quirk. Again, like her other shortcomings, this weakness has been shown. Once again, right at the start of the series with her encounter against Ira, when he hides everything on the second floor so she has nothing to use as a weapon. And also in her fight against Bakugo, she was forced to use a reckless strategy to create debris for her attacks. This obstacle is actually a big one that we'll need to find a solution for, and so I present to you the new support items for Uraraka that I've designed. We'll start by tackling her mobility. The solution for this that I propose is a thruster or a jetpack type support item to help her accelerate in different directions when in midair. If you're a fan of the Gundam series like I am, you might notice my design is similar to those used across various series. The reason being that my idea was inspired by how great those devices work in outer space where there is no gravity, and the efficiency of the design is just amazing. For our purposes though, Uraraka would be in various intense close quarter fights, and having a huge backpack on could limit movement and be distracting. So instead, I reduced the size and made it more fit for our character. This could actually happen too, as Hatsume could possibly design a smaller version of her jetpack for Uraraka in the future, which would make for a great twist considering they're not so close right now due to certain events, we'll say. To go with the jetpack thruster, we'll add new boot designs to handle more intense landings. We'll stay true to her current design because, well, they're cute, while changing the soles to be more like the ones Hatsume had designed for the sports festival. Her current boots are designed for landings, but I can't imagine why high heels would be better than flat soles that are more secure, so we'll make the switch there, creating a more mobile design. Next up, we'll tackle her durability. Bakugo and Deku both have pretty unbreakable wills to prevail, and sure, Uraraka doesn't necessarily need to be on that same level, but if she wants to have a future where she's facing off in hand combat, her durability really needs to improve. The solution for this that I've created is a set of armor that should be very solid and weigh possibly up to 1 ton. Now you'll notice that I didn't go crazy with the amount of armor, but that's to not sacrifice her mobility in it. Uraraka is capable of making her costume and equipment weightless, as she's shown this ability before, making her shoes and uniform weightless during the physical exam to improve her time in the meter dash. It would be brilliant to have solid armor that is weightless. It would allow her to have more protection, and could even be used offensively if she chooses to cancel the weightlessness at the right times. This would be amazing to see, and I really hope she chooses to go a route like this in the future. Lastly, her reliance on objects to use as weapons. This weakness has been exposed on multiple occasions, leading me to conclude that Uraraka would be absolutely lethal if she implemented weights into her catalog of supply equipment. And not just any weights, she should use the same weights that Sir used in the manga. While he's able to do that because of his strength, she can use it almost effortlessly if she makes them weightless, throws them, and then releases the effects of her power. Then, not only can they be used as projectiles to throw at enemies, dealing crushing damage, but also weights that heavy can be used to crush nearby surfaces, creating more projectiles to use in her attacks. I believe these changes in her equipment and costume would turn Uraraka into an offensive force, especially when combined with improved experience and practice in hand-to-hand combat. You'll notice again that I didn't make any changes to reduce nausea, and that's because almost every aspect of her current costume is designed to combat nausea. Instead, I opted to focus on what I believe to be missing. I hope you enjoyed this video. In the comments, let me know what you think about these changes, and if there's anything else you would add, be sure to leave that too. If there's anyone you'd like to see us make support items for, I'm all ears. Until next time, I am Young Kami J. Have a great day. Goodbye!